23% of people in the first 1 week of the following year get to give up on their New Year resolution. That's not all. About 64% of people in the first 1 month give up on their New Year resolution. And towards the end of the year, about 81% of people give up on their New Year resolution. Now the question to me right now is, does it really worth it to compile all of this list? Considering the fact that you won't see them through. But here's the thing I really want us to take out of this video. Rather than focusing on the list, is it possible for us to focus on things that did not allow us to achieve those goals and see how we can fight them out in the following year? And that is what I'm trying to establish in this video. Now, rather than focusing on the list, if you reflect back based on this current year and you look at those things critically, there are some factors that deny you access to achieving some of those lists. If you can figure out a way to overcome those things, now there are high chances that you are going to be able to scale when you have such a list again. But the common mistake that we make is we just have a list, and somewhere along the line, when the road gets tough and, we just get to ask ourselves, after all, I don't kill anybody, when you look at those kind of things and you ask yourself, okay, before you know, by default, you get to leave those lists. But my major concern for you is planning on how to mitigate and also avoid some of those challenges in the following year. And I've listed about 5 of them, which some of questions you can ask yourself. And if you can be sincere with yourself, if you can be thoroughly sincere with yourself, this will help you to really plan ahead and being able to, tackle whatever challenges that comes your way. The first question you need to ask yourself is, what is that thing that will stop me from starting this goal in the first place? By the time you have some of those lists, perhaps maybe your goal is to get a certification at some point towards the following year, and you begin to ask, what are those things that can stop you, those factors that can stop you from achieving this goal? Identifying those factors in the first place is like one of the first breakthrough, because once you identify them, you can now start asking further questions. Take for instance, for me, if I'm to take a course net here, maybe if the course is something that is capital intense, maybe my challenge might be that I'm unable to get the funding in order to start. That can be a reason why I won't be able to start. So understanding that fact alone is something that is tremendous in order to achieve some of this goal. Now, to add to that, once you identify something that can stop you or that can hinder you from starting, now taking that further a bit, something you can also consider is figuring out what can be done in order to remedy that situation. In my case, it might be to either make more money or either I'm going to seek loan or I'm going to talk to some friends to loan me or something, I need to be able to figure out where that money is coming from. I won't just, have it on my list. I want to have a degree in something and hoping that the money will come. That is not the way to go about it. Now, another thing to consider, which is my question number 2, what is that thing that can go wrong when you're making progress with your goal? What can possibly go wrong? And in my own situation, if I want to get a degree, what can possibly go wrong could be that perhaps my place of work can bring a more demanding task that will make it very, very, very hard for me to proceed with my learning. Understanding some of these things or understanding what could possibly go wrong can help you to start strategizing and trying to see, even if that does happen, you can find ways to always navigate around because you've thought about it and you've thought of what to do. And at that point, you're just acting based on some of the things you've put on ground. Now, once you answer the question of what can go wrong, let us go to the next question. How will you tackle failure when it arises? So imagine, for instance, maybe the first module in the course I am going to take, I fail it. Or, for some reasons I am not just getting it, or for some reasons whatever effort I try to put in is just not amounting to what I expect. What am I going to do in that kind of situation? Will I speak to experts? Will I talk to people who had completed a task? Will I try to associate myself with a community of people who have like minds, who try to do the same thing that I'm doing? Will I have to go to some events? Do I have to take some break? What will you do when you feel you're not getting it? You need to answer that question as well. And the moment you can understand that and understand how critical that question is, it is likely for you not to fail. Because when you find yourself in that moment, you also have something to deal with it.